Right now at 5, multiple agencies respond to a horse trailer crash in Joplin.
And it's a bit of a chilly start to the day. It will be warm and windy a little later. We'll have a look at that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the spring choir concert at Pittsburgh State University delivers a mix of classic and contemporary tunes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday, March the 10th. It is also Mario Day.
Yes.
Yeah,
how about that?
It is Mario Day. So I think that's something I might enjoy a little later today. I still have my original Super Nintendo that my parents bought. How this thing still runs, I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe today's a good day to play some Super Mario. It's a great day, though, if you can move that set outside. It's going to be a beautiful day to be outdoors as well. Let's take a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, and it looks pretty good. It's dark outside because, well, the sun hasn't risen. Hopefully you set your clocks forward an hour. Otherwise, you're going to wake up an hour from now and be disappointed that this show is already halfway through. But don't forget, you should have sprung forward over the weekend. And, yeah, man, that just messes with everything because you're sleeping in. You don't think you're sleeping in as late, and the next thing you know, it's almost noon, and that just kind of messes with stuff. But it's going to be a beautiful day, all right? The great day out there. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line looks good as well. We do have to contend with these. We have some red flag warnings out there. So these ones here run through 7 this evening. 8, and the other ones up here run through 7, I believe. That's a problem again with the 5, 6 different weather service offices that cover us. But either way, they run through later this evening because we're going to have dry conditions and gusty winds once again. By noon, already looking pretty good. There's no clouds out there. In fact, on the future track, there's really nothing to show you at all other than the fact the wind arrows are going to increase in speed because it is going to get a little windy a little later. We got 36 in Pittsburgh, and the main reporting station for Joplin is down, but this backup one that this map reads says it is 37. I got, again, 29 in Miami. We got 40 in Yates Center, 41 in Chanute and Monette. Otherwise, again, a chilly start to the day, seasonably chilly out there, so kids getting on the bus probably want that jacket. Going into the upper 30s, southwest winds 5 to 10, clear skies. Those winds start to increase a bit through the morning, and eventually be gusting upwards of 25. Take a look at that temperature when the bus comes home. 72, sunny. Highs today, low mid 70s for many of us, maybe some upper 60s here and there. Otherwise, sunny, breezy, just a beautiful day. It's going to be even warmer tomorrow. And some good news is we're really starting to settle into spring. That's great news for the temperatures. The bad news is spring is also storm season, and we do have some thunderstorm chances later this week. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the second of 2 individuals charged with second-degree murder has been arrested. Madison Stonecipher was located during a traffic stop in Ottawa County, Oklahoma, Saturday evening. Stonecipher and Gatlin Pennington are charged with second-degree murder in the death of Jesse Dunn. Neosho police determined Dunn was given fentanyl in exchange for a cry cut machine, and both suspects knew the drugs might contain xylazine. Now, Pennington has been in custody at the Jasper County Jail on prior drug charges. Multiple agencies respond to an accident involving a horse trailer in Joplin. Just before 3 p.m. Friday, a horse trailer overturned on northbound Highway 249 under the 32nd Street overpass. The trailer, carrying multiple horses, was being pulled by a pickup truck. Now, while the truck did not overturn, it was damaged in the crash. Emergency responders, including Joplin Fire, Joplin Police, that's Joplin Animal Control, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, arrived on the scene. Now, fortunately, all of the horses were safely removed and placed in a new trailer for transport. No human injuries were reported, and officials have not yet released details on what caused the crash. Well, over the weekend, many prescribed burns, also known as controlled burns, were performed as scheduled. However, Sunday afternoon, winds picked up and some got out of control. Now, the majority of burn piles and brush fires went off without a hitch, like this one near a villa on Highway 37. And we counted more than 10 calls for area departments to separate fires between 1 and 4 o'clock, where burn barrels or grass fires had spread out of control. Now, Webb City, Carl Junction, Oronogo, Carthage, Reddings Mill, Galena, Lamar, and others responded to calls in their districts. And so did Golden City Fire. This grass fire began at 3 to 4 acres near Maple Grove in northeast Jasper County. Golden City Fire took care of it quickly. No structures in any of the fires burned. Some were damaged. Now today, all area fire departments are issuing no burning warnings as high winds and low humidity will make the spread of grass fires dangerous. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Pittsburg State University held its spring choir concert, bringing a blend of classic and contemporary pieces to the stage, from Mendelssohn and Poulenc to modern hits like Skyfall and What Was I Made For? Now, the performance showcased a range of styles and talented soloists.
Working with an incredibly talented and hardworking group of musicians in both the standard and the auditioned ensembles. Everybody is so friendly to one another, quick to help one another out if there's any kind of issues, and there is always somebody that wants to help strive for improvement inside certain areas.
The night ended on a high note with a powerful spiritual arrangement that had the audience on their feet. Another standout performance from Pittsburg State's choirs. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, Pitt State women's basketball tries to win the MIAA tournament for the second year in a row. We'll have the details. Plus, the London Eye celebrates 25 years with over 70 million rides taken. And we have a warm and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
The MIAA Women's Basketball Championship game took place last night, with the winner earning an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. And Pitt State is in the final for the second year in a row. So here we go. MIAA Tournament Championship, Pitt State facing Fort Hays State, the only team in the conference to beat the Gorillas in the regular season. First points of the afternoon belong to PSU, courtesy of a Grace Pyle jumper. And once again, Pitt State gets off to a red-hot start. A couple of minutes later, Corinna Gerber turns around and scores, and the Gorillas lead 13-3. Still in the first half, Macy James attacks the hoop, gets fouled, and scores. Pitt State would lead by 16 at halftime. Every time the Tigers would cut into the Gorillas' lead, the Gorillas would have the answer. This three-pointer from Hannah Nilgis makes it a 24-point game. Later in the fourth, Hayes pulls within 13, and Harper Schreiner connects from deep to push it back to a 16-point deficit. Then down the stretch, Corinna Gerber knocks in her first three-point field goal of the season. As the final seconds tick away, the Gorillas start to celebrate. After winning the regular season conference championship, Pittsburg State women's basketball wins the MIAA tournament as well. Gorillas with a wire-to-wire victory over Fort Hays State in the title game, 81-73, the final score. John Dales has more on the Gorilla victory.
For the second year in a row, Pitt State women's basketball cuts down the nets at the MIAA tournament. The Gorillas are conference tournament champions once again, and this time around they did it by getting out to hot starts in the first quarter. Against Missouri Southern in the quarterfinals, the Gorillas opened up a 20-11 lead in the first quarter of the game. Against Washburn in the semifinals yesterday, they get a 19-2 lead, and then against Fort Hays State in the conference title game this afternoon, Pitt State opens up a 13-3 advantage in the first couple of minutes of the contest and never looks back en route to his second consecutive conference championship.
Well, they're fearless. I mean, they're absolutely fearless, because a lot of teams would, I think, get intimidated by the moment, or feel like, oh my gosh, you know, we don't have salve, like they're huge, and when you have a player go down, you know, it's somewhat, you could, you know, run from that adversity, or you could stare right in the eye and just be like, well, we don't have a choice.
Championships are great, and they're very uncommon too, so we're grateful when we celebrate them when they happen, but I think they also motivate you a lot more. When you get that little taste of success, you're motivated for more, and I think that this is what this group is feeling right now.
As you heard Grace Pyle mention, the job is far from done for the Gorillas. Next up is the NCAA tournament, and by the end of tonight, we expect to hear the news that Pitt State will host a regional in the NCAA tournament at John Lance Arena. But for now, signing off from Kansas City, I'm John Dales, KOAM Sports.
We had some gorgeous weather yesterday, which makes for a perfect day for baseball. And lucky for us, our local college teams have plenty of action on the diamond yesterday. First up, Pitt State on the road. The Gorillas finish off their weekend series with a doubleheader against Central Oklahoma. Gorillas go ape in Game 1, scoring 9 runs to the Broncos' 5. Get off to a hot start in Game 2, but can't stop the Bronco offense and lose 10-5 to split the doubleheader. Pitt State's upcoming weekday matchup was canceled, but they'll welcome Northwest Missouri into the jungle next weekend. Missouri Southern was also away from home, facing off against Fort Hays State. And there must be something in the air because this one is a slugfest as well. Lions take down the Tigers 12-10. Tying up the series with Fort Hays, the rubber match is set for today at 1. Well, still to come, a new study finds that fatty foods can trigger cognitive issues in elderly adults. Plus, get another check of that forecast, the warm weather, and some storm chances when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16 now on this Monday morning. We have some things to go over. First, we have red flag warnings that run through later this evening for the counties highlighted in this pinkish color. And that is, again, if you're in these areas, absolutely no outdoor burning. But again, even outside of those areas, it's still going to be breezy, still going to be dry. Burning not recommended anywhere in our region today. Now, the future track, I really don't have much to show you, so we're going to kind of just spend a little time on it. It's going to be warm today. It's going to be breezy. There are no clouds. There's nothing really to worry about in some of our southern counties, getting almost close to 80 degrees. We'll have a pretty mild overnight, still breezy tonight, still breezy tomorrow, but otherwise still sunny and still quite warm. Take a look at by noon already into the 60s and maybe even a couple of low 70s. What we do have, though, later this week are some thunderstorm chances. We're going to get to those here in just a second. So first, temperatures this morning. Cold spot is Miami at 29. We got warm spots tied. Monette and Chanute both sitting at 41. So a bit of a spread of temperatures, but all of us will be getting in on this warmer weather a little later through the morning hours. So clear skies out there, about 40 to start, but take a look at these increases. Almost a 20-degree rise in just 4 hours, up to near 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. But again, the trade-off is we're going to have to deal with those gusty winds out of the southwest, occasionally pushing up to 25. But our highs today, majority of us should make the low 70s with sunny skies and just, again, those breezy conditions that we've got to keep an eye on. We're going to be dry again into tonight. Wind still blowing out there, but this time out of the south, gusting occasionally to 25, and we'll gradually fall back with these clear skies down to about 50. So a milder overnight tonight means warmer weather for us as we head into our Tuesday. So here's what we want to talk about a little later this week. You probably already see, and believe me, I'm on social media. I don't like to be, but I am, and I see all the posts, and I'm seeing people share stuff where some of these online meteorologists are predicting the equivalent of the end of the world by this Friday. It's not necessarily going to be that intense, but we do have thunderstorm chances. So don't panic. Don't let those guys freak you out. You got to trust the people who actually, live here and know what's expected here. Not some guy, out in Colorado or Wyoming who's, all hyped up about stuff. So thunderstorm chances are there. Now, could they be strong to possibly severe? Yes, but it is something we have to monitor very closely because some of the data suggests these storms are going to fire a little further to our east, and we may not get much more than just a little rain. So this particular one does think we could see some storms right after about noon, so maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then some additional showers and storms as we go through the late evening hours and into the overnight with this low pressure system here that's going to bring in these thunderstorm chances. So yes, thunderstorms are possible. Is it end of the world storms? At this point, doesn't look like it. But again, if you check social media, they're going to have you believe that. So the long range things for Thursday, of course, we're not expecting anything. So at this point, same predictability to low. This is, of course, across the United States. For us, this is where the severe risk is. So far, again, lining up with some of the other data that the stronger storms may fire to our east where there is a higher risk. for strong to severe thunderstorms off to our east, and then the possible risk in the eastern half of our area. So we'll keep a close eye on it. It could be adjusted a little further east. It could come back a little further west. We'll monitor the storm chances for us, and that way you don't have to worry. And like I said, don't panic about what these online folks say. Could have a stray shower to Wednesday. We're looking to be mostly dry. Temperatures looking great out there. Got those thunderstorm chances. That does cool us down a little bit into this weekend, but it's not by much and it's not for very long. So we go back into the 70s next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. The number of measles cases identified in outbreaks in West Texas and nearby counties in New Mexico has jumped to nearly 230, according to health officials in those states. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says measles cases have now been reported in at least 12 states. The majority are in western Texas and New Mexico. Jen Sullivan reports on the growing concerns from health officials.
Measles cases have now been reported in at least a dozen states. As of Friday, more than 200 have been reported this year, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In the West Texas outbreak, which accounts for the vast majority of cases, 39 have been reported in just 3 days.
The only way to stop an outbreak of measles is to prevent infections.
To prevent infections, health officials say more people need to get the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. Typically, the first dose is given to children ages 12 to 15 months and is 93% effective. The second dose, given to kids between 4 and 6 years old, is about 97% effective, according to the CDC.
The MMR vaccine is one of the most effective vaccines we have against viral illness.
Dr. Wilson says the amount of misinformation surrounding vaccines has led to fewer people getting vaccinated, and that's how an outbreak starts. So far, 2 people have died, likely as a result from the measles, a school-age child in Texas and an adult in New Mexico. Both were unvaccinated.
We should be very alarmed. We haven't seen a death of a child from measles in over a decade in this country.
Measles is highly contagious. The disease causes a rash of red spots, fever, cough, and red watery eyes. It can cause serious illness and even death, especially in young children.
It is the most infectious human virus, more infectious than COVID, more infectious than HIV.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Well, health experts are weighing in on a cognitive condition that may see a significant increase in the next 35 years. Neurologists and aging experts at the Cleveland Clinic say the number of dementia cases will double by the year 2060. Experts say this is likely because the number of people over 65 will consistently increase by then. Now, Cleveland Clinic experts say dementia comes from a decline in memory, reasoning, language, coordination, or behavior. And the best strategies to combat it are in good health, such as the Mediterranean diet, staying socially engaged, and picking up new skills. Now, Cleveland Clinic experts say there's no current cure for dementia, but there are treatment options available. Well, a high-fat diet may impair memory and increase anxiety in older adults. Researchers at Ohio State University compared the impact of a high-fat diet on young adult rats and aged rats. Now, aged rats that were fed the diet for 3 days or 4 months both performed worse on memory tests and displayed increased anxiety behaviors compared to the rats that ate normal rat chow. Researchers found the aged rats had increased inflammation in key regions of the brain, indicating the older rats' immune systems could not properly regulate itself. Now, young rats appear to have a protective response against the inflammation. The findings go against the long-held belief that cognitive issues from poor diet only happen after prolonged unhealthy eating. While mental health experts say it's important to have ample time to relax after a hard day's work, researchers say you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, citing how people could bolster their career development through hobbies in their free time. Ted Linder takes a closer look at leisure work synergy and how to tell if it might be for you.
Looking to get ahead at work without having to spend more time on the clock? Researchers at Purdue University say a practice called leisure work synergy may help.
Leisure work synergizing is basically bringing aspects of your work life into your leisure or free time in ways that hopefully build your skills and competencies for work.
Behavioral experts recommend looking for ways to expand your professional development through your hobbies.
So for example, I am an avid reader. In the evenings, I love to pick up a book and just relax. And so if I'm leisure work synergizing, I'm choosing the latest popular press book on leadership or growth mindset instead of my usual fictional historical novel.
And the possibilities could be endless. It just comes down to identifying specific skills you want to refine in your free time.
Another example would be that I am a former musical theater kid. I would love to take an improv class. Perhaps I take an improv class in part to hone my skills in the classroom as an instructor and professor, enjoying the free time, enjoying the class, but knowing that I'm doing it strategically to enhance my work skills as well.
Analysts at Purdue University found many people engaging in leisure work synergy reported feeling more self-assured on the job.
They're feeling confident, they have something new to bring to work, and that allows them to thrive.
But this practice isn't for everyone. Researchers say some people need to have a strong divide between their work and personal lives.
So these kind of practices really work as long as you don't feel like you're sacrificing your time for work. That's just more working. But rather you are using your leisure time in ways that take care of more than one thing at a time.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got an absolutely beautiful spring-like day across the area. Do have some gusty winds to contend with. We'll have a look at your forecast when we come back.
Topping Health Watch this morning. The number of measles cases identified in outbreaks in West Texas and nearby counties in New Mexico has jumped to nearly 230, according to health officials in those states. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says measles cases have now been reported in at least 12 states. The majority are in western Texas and New Mexico. Jen Sullivan reports on the growing concerns from health officials.
Measles cases have now been reported in at least a dozen states. As of Friday, more than 200 have been reported this year, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In the West Texas outbreak, which accounts for the vast majority of cases, 39 have been reported in just 3 days.
The only way to stop an outbreak of measles is to prevent infections.
To prevent infections, health officials say more people need to get the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. Typically, the first dose is given to children ages 12 to 15 months and is 93% effective. The second dose, given to kids between 4 and 6 years old, is about 97% effective, according to the CDC.
The MMR vaccine is one of the most effective vaccines we have against viral illness.
Dr. Wilson says the amount of misinformation surrounding vaccines has led to fewer people getting vaccinated, and that's how an outbreak starts. So far, 2 people have died, likely as a result from the measles, a school-age child in Texas and an adult in New Mexico. Both were unvaccinated.
We should be very alarmed. We haven't seen a death of a child from measles in over a decade in this country.
Measles is highly contagious. The disease causes a rash of red spots, fever, cough, and red watery eyes. It can cause serious illness and even death, especially in young children.
It is the most infectious human virus, more infectious than COVID, more infectious than HIV.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Well, health experts are weighing in on a cognitive condition that may see a significant increase in the next 35 years. Neurologists and aging experts at the Cleveland Clinic say the number of dementia cases will double by the year 2060. Experts say this is likely because the number of people over 65 will consistently increase by then. Now, Cleveland Clinic experts say dementia comes from a decline in memory, reasoning, language, coordination, or behavior. And the best strategies to combat it are in good health, such as the Mediterranean diet, staying socially engaged, and picking up new skills. Now, Cleveland Clinic experts say there's no current cure for dementia, but there are treatment options available. Well, a high-fat diet may impair memory and increase anxiety in older adults. Researchers at Ohio State University compared the impact of a high-fat diet on young adult rats and aged rats. Now, aged rats that were fed the diet for 3 days or 4 months both performed worse on memory tests and displayed increased anxiety behaviors compared to the rats that ate normal rat chow. Researchers found the aged rats had increased inflammation in key regions of the brain, indicating the older rats' immune systems could not properly regulate itself. Now, young rats appear to have a protective response against the inflammation. The findings go against the long-held belief that cognitive issues from poor diet only happen after prolonged unhealthy eating. Now, while mental health experts say it's important to have ample time to relax after a hard day's work, researchers say you could kill two birds with one stone, citing how people could bolster their career development through hobbies in their free time. Ted Linder takes a closer look at leisure-work synergy and how to tell if it might be for you.
Looking to get ahead at work without having to spend more time on the clock? Researchers at Purdue University say a practice called leisure-work synergy may help.
Leisure work synergizing is basically bringing aspects of your work life into your leisure or free time in ways that hopefully build your skills and competencies for work.
Behavioral experts recommend looking for ways to expand your professional development through your hobbies.
So for example, I am an avid reader. In the evenings, I love to pick up a book and just relax. And so if I'm leisure work synergizing, I'm choosing the latest popular press book on leadership or growth mindset instead of my usual fictional historical novel.
And the possibilities could be endless. It just comes down to identifying specific skills you want to refine in your free time.
Another example would be that I am a former musical theater kid. I would love to take an improv class. Perhaps I take an improv class in part to hone my skills in the classroom as an instructor and professor, enjoying the free time, enjoying the class, but knowing that I'm doing it strategically to enhance my work skills as well.
Analysts at Purdue University found many people engaging in leisure-work synergy reported feeling more self-assured on the job.
They're feeling confident, they have something new to bring to work, and that allows them to thrive.
But this practice isn't for everyone. Researchers say some people need to have a strong divide between their work and personal lives.
So these kind of practices really work as long as you don't feel like you're sacrificing your time for work. That's just more working. But rather you are using your leisure time in ways that take care of more than one thing at a time.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got an absolutely beautiful spring-like day across the area. Do have some gusty winds to contend with. We'll have a look at your forecast when we come back.
Every journey after an accident is different, but the story is the same, especially when it's yours. You need help, you need us. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, call Aaron Sachs and Associates.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. The Lord is my shepherd.
David, live on stage in Branson, Missouri.
For your home and your range, Bad Boy mowers will tame any terrain. Designed with advanced engineering and fueled by power that's second to none. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
Henson Septic, family owned and operated since 2020. From large to small projects, we have the parts you need. Feed bunks, PVC, eco-friendly pipe solutions, well houses, septic tanks, and septic pumping, all available for delivery. Give us a call today to talk about your next project.
Fred and Red's has been serving area residents for 100 years. The chili, tamales, burgers, and conies, and of course our world-famous Spaghetti Red have kept generations of customers coming back for more. Dine in, carry out, or drive through. Fred and Red's, famous since 1923.
Hi, I'm Dow Quick, and I'm inviting you on a holiday vacations tour. Join me in enchanting Ireland, September 10th to the 19th. Experience the ancient history, natural beauty, and the warm hospitality of Ireland. We travel across the country visiting places like the Kilkenny Castle and the breathtaking Cliffs of Moher. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword Joplin, to request a brochure, watch a travel show, and book this tour.
Not sure what to do after a wreck with a truck? Call Aaron Sachs and Associates. Here's a fact: trucks come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. If you've been injured in a wreck with any truck, get the facts and the help you need. Call Aaron Sachs and Associates.
The Downtown Pittsburgh Camera is sponsored by Pittsburgh State University and the City of Pittsburgh.
Right now at 5:30, people get out their running shoes for the Clover Run 12K and 5K.
And we've got a chilly start to the day. It will be warm and windy. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, disc golf players put their skills to the test to raise money for the community green farm in Pittsburgh.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday. It is March the 10th, and it is going to be a glorious day across the 4 states out there. Be beautiful. A little bit chilly this morning. Especially in some locations.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a pretty good day. There's just not much else to say. It's just going to be a nice day.
Nice start to the week. Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that at all. Wasn't a bad Sunday either. A little warmer out there, which was certainly nice as well. Hopefully you've had time to enjoy it, and if not, don't worry. It's starting to look a little more like spring is starting to settle in for the long haul now. Let's take a quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. We're looking so far so good. Of course, sun isn't up just yet, but it will be eventually. MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line. Looking back to the west, also looking pretty good this morning as well. Reminder though, we do have red flag warnings for parts of the area through late this evening. So of course, within the red flag warnings, absolutely no burning. But outside of that, it's going to be dry. It's going to be breezy across the region. So burning not recommended anywhere in the area. Future track, there's not much to show other than as we head into the afternoon, these wind arrows really start to roll as the gusty winds start to pick up. But otherwise, clear skies, beautiful day, just a bit on the breezy side and fairly mild temperatures as well. We're sitting at 36 in Pittsburgh right now. And again, Joplin, the airport not reporting data, but there is a backup weather station that this map can pull from. So reading as 38 in Joplin, 41, Chanute and Monette, still the warmer spots. Miami's still the cold spot at 27. The rest of us, for the most part, hanging out in the 30s. So again, a bit of a chilly start out there. We'll be in the upper 30s as kids get on the bus this morning. It's clear skies, southwest winds 5 to 10, and about 72 when that bus brings them back. But those southwest winds now gusting to 25. That's what we'll be. Gusts up to 25. Otherwise sunny, mild. The majority of us should make the low 70s today. Be a little milder tomorrow, and this warm weather sticks around for a while. However, these spring temperatures also are an indication of the arrival of those spring storm chances. We do have some storm chances later this week. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, runners hit the pavement in Carthage for a good cause. The Clover Run 12K and 5K kicked off Saturday morning at the Route 66 Drive-In Theater with proceeds benefiting Crosslines Ministries and 4-H. Now, the 12K loop took runners through scenic country roads, over the I-49 bridge, and onto the Ruby Jack Trail, making it the only USATF certified 12K course in Missouri.
You know, going to the gym and things like that, coming out of COVID, tried to get back in shape, and then it just became something I enjoyed, and so just kind of stuck with it. I guess first the challenge, just to see if I could run a 5K or anything beyond, and then once you do that, you kind of, I guess, get motivated to keep going, and then it just becomes a part of you. I guess, can imagine not running now.
Now, the 5K followed a shorter route on the Ruby Jack, and participants took home finisher medals with awards given for overall and age group winners. Well, the Missouri Southern Shootout returned for its 8th year, bringing more than 1,000 archers to Joplin. The annual competition, hosted in partnership with the Joplin High School at the Leggett and Platt Athletic Center on the MSSU campus.
Anyone can shoot archery. I've taught kids in wheelchairs. I've taught students that have emotional issues. I've taught kids that have learning issues. I have kids that are the top in the class. I have the kids that are the best athletes, and I've had other kids that never do anything but really just play video games. This is the best equalizer sport out there.
Students from 4th through 12th grade competed for top honors, with the highest scoring male and female archers each winning a $1,000 scholarship to Missouri Southern. Well, disc golfers teed off Saturday morning in Pittsburgh. The Ice Bowl fundraiser at Lincoln Park brought players together for a 21-hole round, all to support Community Green Farm. Now, half of each entry fee, along with 1,000% of donations and mulligan funds, going straight to the charity. Players also had a shot at the ace pot, with a portion going to the fundraiser if no one hit an ace.
Just the interaction, the camaraderie, meeting new people, finding a large walk of life of people and being able to get along and have a good time.
Now, competitors took home player packs, including a premium disc and Ice Bowl gear, all while making a difference in their community. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Well, Panama releases dozens of migrants after they were deported from the U.S. Plus, prayers continue for Pope Francis's recovery. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Watch, the iconic London Eye turns 25. More than 70 million rides have been taken on the landmark that is one of the most popular attractions in the UK. Architect duo Julia Barfield and David Marks submitted the idea to the Millennial Competition in 1993, which was calling for landmark ideas to celebrate the millennium. Now, the 450-foot tall eye allows visitors to see views around London for 25 miles. It stands tall on the South Bank and is opposite the House of Parliament. Now, the structure was meant to be temporary at first, but it received a permanent license in 2002 and was officially made permanent in 2024. A new Canadian Prime Minister has been chosen. On Sunday night, the country's Liberal Party announced Mark Carney has been selected to succeed outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who announced his resignation in January. Party members chose Carney over three other candidates. The 59-year-old Prime Minister-elect is expected to be sworn in sometime this week. Carney has never held executive office, but as the former governor of the Bank of Canada, he was credited with helping to guide the country through the worst of the 2008 financial crisis. Carney will be taking office at a time when Canada is contending with President Trump's trade war and his intention to annex the country. Well, Panama releases dozens of migrants that were held in a remote camp for weeks after being deported from the U.S. Now, around 65 migrants from Iran, China, Russia, and other nations were released. They were detained by Panama in the country's effort to work with President Trump and, quote, send a signal of deterrence for others who are planning to migrate. Lawyers and human rights groups met the migrants at a bus terminal where they were released. The Panamanian government says they can extend their stay for 60 days in the country if necessary. Now, the Trump administration sent hundreds of people, including families and children, to Costa Rica and Panama as a stopover. As authorities work to send them back to their home countries, critics say it's an orchestrated effort to speed up the U.S. deportation process. The Catholic faithful continue to pray for Pope Francis, now more than 3 weeks into his hospitalization for double pneumonia. Jeff Paul reports from Rome.
Pope Francis now entering his fourth week in the hospital, marking the fourth consecutive Sunday that he has missed his weekly blessing. But there are some signs that the Pope's recovery is now heading in a positive direction. The Vatican now saying there are indications that Pope Francis is gradually improving. The Pope has remained stable for several consecutive days, and officials point to a good response to his current treatment. He's been working in recent days, has no fever, and his blood work looks good. And while it is unclear how long he'll be in the hospital, Pope Francis issuing a message on Sunday, thinking of those who find ways to be close to the sick. He says we need this miracle of tenderness to accompany those who face adversity in order to bring a little light into the night of pain. It is a message many volunteers at St. Peter's Square took to heart on Sunday.
We are particularly sorry the Pope is not here, but we hope he will get better soon. It seems there is some positive news, so we will pray for him, that he will get better soon.
This will be Pope Francis's 24th night in the hospital as he continues to recover from double pneumonia.
That's a look at World Watch. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 5:45 now on this Monday morning, we have this to discuss. First, we do have red flag warnings for parts of the area. They run until late this evening through at least 8 o'clock. And so, of course, within the red flag warnings, no burning whatsoever. But outside of those zones, it's still going to be dry, still going to be breezy. Burning not recommended across the area today. It'll be breezy tonight and tomorrow as well across the area too. For today, though, not much to talk about on the future track in the short term. So we're not going to spend a lot of time with it, but it's going to be clear, it's going to be warm, and it is going to be breezy. As we go into the overnight hours, the winds will begin to shift out of the south for us. Still gusty, though, but that'll allow us to have a slightly milder overnight, and that means a slightly warmer day as we head into our Tuesday as well. Now, there are thunderstorm chances down the road, and we're going to talk about those here in just a moment. First, your temperatures. It is cold in some spots, like Miami sitting at 27. We still have Monette and Chanute both tied for the warm spots at 41. Otherwise, the majority of us hanging out in the 30s this morning. We should be about 40 as we get the day started, and nearly a 20-degree jump heading into the late morning. Upper 50s by 11 o'clock with sunny skies. Sunny through the day, and again, warm. The majority of us should at least make the low 70s. Some of us may be a little warmer than that. And the southwest winds will be, again, occasionally gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. Clear skies will continue through the evening and, of course, into the overnight. Still breezy. Winds out of the south gusting upwards of 25. We should fall down to close to 50 degrees tonight. Now, we're going to talk about those thunderstorm chances, which, again, I started over the weekend seeing this information on Facebook. Some of it you're seeing could be actually coming from reputable meteorologists. Sadly, though, the majority of what you may be seeing on Facebook being shared about this Friday is not coming from reputable meteorologists. It's coming from some guy living in his parents' basement in Wyoming who thinks it's really cool to scare people half to death by highlighting red zones and all this other crazy stuff. Now, are thunderstorm chances possible Friday? Absolutely. Could some of them be strong? Potentially severe. Yes. Is it the end of times this Friday, as you may be seeing in some of these posts? No, not at all, not even close, okay? But thunderstorm chances are there. Now, to be perfectly honest, most of the data suggests any storms we see are going to be to our east. We may get rain, we may get some thunder, but the stronger storms are expected to be to our east. There's going to be a lot of tweaking between here and there. It's going to be done. So I have put into this system one of the models that actually shows the possibility of some storms in our area as we head into Friday afternoon and evening. If we turn off this computer data and turn on the other one, it shows absolutely nothing in our area on Friday. So that's why there's a lot of variability still, and we have a very broad area for storms. But as you see, some showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms will be possible as we head into Friday afternoon and evening. A strong storm or two is possible because as we head into Friday, you see we do have that slight risk for severe weather reaching the eastern portions of our area with a slightly higher risk much further east of our area as we head into Friday rather. So it's something we'll keep an eye on. Do not panic as of yet, but just be weather aware as we head into Friday. Between here and there, though, very nice. That system Friday does make us a little cooler this weekend, but it's short-lived. We're back into the 70s next week. We'll be back with more right after this.
It's taking place in Tinseltown. David Daniel has the scoop in our Hollywood Minute.
Prestige films and box office hits, those are not mutually exclusive. We can do both and we will do both.
Matt, I get it. You want to make great art and make $1 billion doing it. Well, guess what? That never happens, and you're going to screw everything up trying to make it happen.
Seth Rogen is a new Hollywood head honcho trying to have it all in the studio. Fittingly, Rogen is also an executive producer on the star-studded series. The first trailer is out now, and the 10-episode comedy debuts March 26th on Apple TV Plus with the first 2 episodes.
It was really exciting.
Michelle Pfeiffer is set for an exciting time in Hollywood. The actress is set to be celebrated on April 25th with a handprint and footprint ceremony at the TCL Chinese Theater. The event is part of this year's TCM Classic Film Festival, which is showcasing her 1989 film, The Fabulous Baker Boys. That role earned Pfeiffer an Oscar nomination and a Golden Globe Award. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, a family is lucky to be alive after barely avoiding being squashed, but a rotted out tree that nearly fell right on top of them, and the whole thing was caught on camera. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Watch a family escape serious harm in Brooklyn by escaping a massive falling tree by mere feet. The trio were caught on a home's surveillance camera walking down this Bensonhurst neighborhood street when it happened.
As we're getting under the tree, we started hearing cracking, and by the time we got to the other side of the tree was down.
As the family scurried clear, you can see the tree shatter and splinter as it hits the pavement, revealing a seemingly rotted and hollow core. Ironically, the family said they had been talking about how old the tree looked as they approached it mere seconds before it came crashing down. Having cheated death and saved life and, well, limb, the family is then seen dancing with joy.
God saved us, and we were just, happy in the moment. We were ready to celebrate immediately.
In other tree-related news, an internet-famous eagle couple has reason to celebrate in their California love nest. According to friends of Big Bear Valley, Jackie and Shadow just welcomed 2 new hatchlings, marking the first time in nearly 3 years that the couple has had a successful hatching. And the proud new parents seem thrilled about it. Either that or really, really mad. I honestly can't tell. Finally, here's a weird story I didn't have a logical place for. An oddly shaped Cheeto just nabbed nearly 90 grand at auction because of its resemblance to the famous Pokemon character, Charizard. Golden Auctions confirmed the so-called Cheeto-Zard sold for a whole lot of cheddar, $87,840 to be exact. And if you're thinking it's foolish to pay that much for a Cheeto, according to scores of social media users, you're not wrong. But they also point out it is 2025 and nothing makes sense anymore. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Cheetos are good, but I don't know if they're exactly that good. Stick around, we'll be right back. Well, King Charles III shares his music taste with the world through a popular streaming platform. King Charles partnered up with Apple Music to create a stellar feature of all of his favorite music. Now, the playlist, called The King's Music Room, features a variety of artists from 1930 crooners to Afrobeat singer Davido and disco artist Grace Jones. Now, it's set to air on March 10th, the country's Commonwealth Day, to showcase the King's global experiences and admiration for music's ability to bring people together. And get your Game Boy or your PlayStation, whatever you use, to play those iconic games. Today marks National Mario Day. The day is set aside to pay tribute to Mario and the character that has delighted legions of fans for decades. Now, Mario first appeared in a game called Donkey Kong in 1981. Nintendo portrayed Mario as a carpenter named Jumpman back then, and in 1983, Nintendo launched a new game. Jumpman reinvented himself as an Italian plumber who rescues princesses, and Mario continues to this day. More than 210 million copies of the Mario game series have been sold. That makes Mario one of the most popular video games of all time.
Now, I know there are those gamer fans like myself who were listening to that and are probably questioning the person who wrote, because you cannot play Mario on the PlayStation, to my knowledge.
No, you can't.
You cannot.
You cannot.
You can get out your PlayStation for Mario Day, but you're going to be very disappointed to find that there are 0 because it's a competing system. We'll nerd out about that later. But it is Mario Day because it is March 10th. You get the idea. And it's going to be a beautiful Mario Day, so maybe take Mario outside. 40 to start, upper 50s by 11 o'clock. Sunny, breezy though. Southwest winds gusting to 25, highs into the low 70s. As we head into tonight, clear skies continue, as do the winds, south gusting to 25. And we'll be down to about 50 tonight. Breezy, warm tomorrow, low 70s all the way through Friday. Maybe some storms Friday. Just a wee bit cooler this weekend, and then back to the 70s next week. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.